Hi everyone, I hope you're great. Today we will continue our lesson on the comma. So you log in using the eplusstudent.com. Click on your name, move on to language art. Okay, so grade 6 and then language art. Lesson will be what commas with direct addresses, introductory words, interjections, and interrupters. Commas with coordinates, adjectives. Alright, so we will start now. So, when it comes to commas, you have to use commas to separate the name of a person being spoken to form the rest of the sentence. So, whenever you have the name of a person, you have to use a comma to separate it from the sentence. So, just like when we say thank you, Bella. So, we put comma in between Bella and then thank you, Bella, for your help. So, if after Bella, the name of a person, you still have some more sentences, you have to put a comma in between them to separate them. Okay, it's just like saying good luck, James, something like this. You have to put a comma in between that. So use a comma after words like yes, no. So you know after you say yes, after you say no, you have to put a comma and some other words when they are followed by a complete sentence. So when you have a sentence coming up after well, yes, no, words like that, you have to make sure you put a comma just like yes, that sounds great. Or you can say no, I can't come. So you say what? No, I can't come. So like that. Okay, so you have to make sure you put a comma in between words like that. So you have to use the comma after mild interruptions. So like when you say oh this, when you have an interruption, and then you have to say like some more things, you have to put a comma in between mild interruption like oh what a sunny sunset, something like that. So you use comma around an interrupter, which is a word, phrase, or clause that adds additional unessential information to the sentence. Like you of course may have a different opinion. So when you have interrupters in the sentence, you have to make sure that you add what comma, just like you of course, something like that. You will make sure that you add a comma. So let's look at the examples. So we have correct the text by inserting one comma. In my opinion, the witness has already answered that question fully, Judge Tyler. So we have what here? A comma in between what? So you need to have use a comma between before Judge Tyler, which is the name of a person. So before the name of a person, you have to make sure that you put a comma, just like this. Put a comma before Judge Tyler. So this one we have what? So we have when are you returning from the medical conference, Dr. McKenney? So one comma. So we also have to add a comma before the doctor's name. So two commas here. Are you sure, Uncle Philip, that this pasta is al dente, not just undercooked? So we have are you sure? Of course, you have to put a comma after are you sure and then after the name of a person. Okay? So move on to the test. You can share your answers with me. Alright, so you have to insert one comma. So we have no, the Empire State Building wasn't completed until 1931, just after the Chrysler Building. So first to second. So we have the first one. Remember that you have to put comma in between like words like no, yes. So laughter is, as they say, the best medicine. Inserting one comma here. Which of them is the right one? So we have what? The first. So no, Benjamin Franklin was never president of the United States. So you need to insert just one comma here. So we have the first. In my opinion, the witness has already answered that question fully, Judge Tyler. One comma, please. Alright, so we have what? A comma before the name, Judge Tyler. Then, are you sure, Uncle Philip, that this pasta is al dente, not just undercooked? First to second. Okay, so we have the first. So, Mare is to be perfectly honest, clueless when it comes to crossword puzzle. Insert two commas. So we have the first. So your enthusiasm for organic gardening is contagious, Mr. Keb. So one comma, please. So you need to have a comma before the name. Okay, so that's it for this particular lesson. We'll move on to the next one. So if you haven't done this, you have to make sure you complete it later on. So we will go to commas with coordinate adjective. Alright, so coordinate adjectives are adjectives that describe the same noun equally. So they basically describe the same noun equally. They should be separated with commas. Alright. So answer these two questions, check for coordinate adjective. Does the text still sound okay when the adjective order is changed? Does the text still sound okay when and is inserted? So if the answer to both questions is yes, then the adjectives are coordinate and should be separated with commas. So we have inside one comma to separate the coordinate adjective. During the last public meeting, the city council responded to complaints about the abandoned aging buildings near the highway. A new ordinance demanding that the eyesore be torn down is expected to pass this week. So you have to check, does the text still sound okay when the adjective order is changed, and release the sound okay when you insert and. So you have to look for adjectives that are next to each other and then test whether they are coordinate adjectives. So we have last and public are not coordinate adjectives. So you shouldn't separate them. Okay, with the comma. So you can tell because the text does not sound right at all when the adjective order is changed. So public last meeting, last and public meeting. So abandoned and aging are coordinate adjectives, so they should be separated with a comma. You can tell because the text still sounds okay when the adjective orders change as well as when an is inserted. So you can see aging, abandoned building, abandoned and aging. So whatever route you take is still going to be okay. So you insert that and then you put the comma in between abandoned and aging. Okay. All right, so we'll start here now. You can share your answers with me, okay? So you have to insert one comma to separate the coordinate adjective. For their vacation, Alex and Brittany rented a small beach bungalow, but the unanticipated fast approaching hurricane forced them to evacuate and end their vacation early, first or second. Oh, so what do we have? The first one, because we can separate unanticipated and fast approaching. Those are the coordinate adjective. So volcanic ash, which has an abrasive sanding texture, can include various identifiable particles, crystals, minerals, bits of pumice, shards of volcanic glass, and miscellaneous rock fragments. So you have to insert one comma. Where should we insert this? So we have what? The first one, because if you include the comma or an, it wouldn't be okay. It would change the sentence totally. So you have to not include anything, just let it be together. So we have Vincent van Gogh was a struggling undiagnosed artist who received recognition and fame only after his death. In fact, only one painting by the notable Dutch painter sold during his lifetime. Inside one comma, first to second. So do we have the first or the second? So we have the second. We have to put comma in between struggling and undiscovered. So two commas here. An elephant's trunk, a remarkable flexible appendage, unlike any other mammals, is used for many specialized, sometimes surprising functions: food gathering, drinking, smelling, bathing, communicating, and even socializing. First or second? Okay, so we have the first one. Okay, so one comma here. During the last public meeting, the city council responded to complaints about the abandoned aging buildings near the highway. A new ordinance demanding that the eyesore be torn down is expected to pass this week, first to second. All right, so we have a second. Okay, so boomerangs, flat, angular piece of wood, can be traced back to many ancient civilizations. King Tutankhamun, who ruled Egypt from 1332 to 1323 BC, had a considerable boomerang collection, first to second. So we have what? The first one. Alright, that's it for our lesson today. Under the commas, can you tell me if you have any questions? Alright, so if we have no question, we'll end here. You have to try to complete this lesson if you haven't done it, okay? And then we will see you again next time. Bye, everyone.